Anyone who played the remake of Silent Hill 2 will notice that the game trades in the original's dreamlike fog for something more realistic, and while it gave it a different feel, the remake was terrifying in its own right. The same story is being told, but with a different, more realistic style. But what happens when it's not just the town that changes, but the people in it? The characters of Silent Hill 2 aren't just faces, they're symbols, and when you alter those symbols, even slightly, you risk changing what they mean. Going into this remake, I avoided all media coverage. No trailers, no leaks, no design reveals. I wanted to judge everything on its own merit, without being influenced by internet discourse. But once I finished the game, I started seeing all the controversy around character design, and I realized some of that criticism, it wasn't just noise, especially when you're talking about Maria. But I think all the backlash over Angela's design was a bit excessive. Some people said she looked off or ugly, but I think those criticisms missed the point. Angela isn't meant to be beautiful. I never really found her particularly glamorous in the original. Her pain is raw and visible, her trauma is on the surface, and her redesign still conveys that sadness, that brokenness. I didn't find her remake design distracting or detrimental to her story. Her design serves her role just fine, but Maria, that's a different story. For us to understand why Maria's character design matters, we first need to know who is Maria. Maria is quite literally the embodiment of James's repressed desires. She's everything James wishes his wife Mary had been: playful, confident, alive. So she is not a real person, she is a test, a trap, created by Silent Hill using James's mind. She is there to tempt James to retreat into a fantasy. She offers him a version of Mary that never got sick, never resented him, never reminded him of his guilt. Maria knows this. She knows who James is. She knows who Mary is. And she knows exactly what role she's meant to play. Unlike the other characters who are lost and searching, she is not on some sort of quest to self-discovery. She knows her part and how to best play it. She's actually more like Pyramid Head. He was created from James's mind to punish James. Although he looks and acts like a mindless monster, he is aware that the best way to punish James is by executing Maria in front of him over and over again, ripping away the fantasy that James so desperately wants to cling to, reminding him of what he did to Mary. Maria is also aware of James's subconscious desire to escape into a new reality, one where Mary never grew distant, never forced him to face the worst parts of himself. This is why she tells him she can be whatever James wants her to be. She is the temptation, the hope that James is yearning for but knows he is not supposed to chase after. The hope that he could start over and get out of this nightmare. The problem is, this hope keeps dying. Maria has a purpose. Part of that purpose is being different than Mary. She is not pretending to be Mary. She is her own person. That's why when James compares her to Mary in the original, she interrupts him firmly, confidently, to make one thing clear.
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I?
It's a defining moment, a declaration of identity, but in the remake, that confidence is stripped away.
My name is Maria. I don't look like a ghost, do I?
And that brings me to something crucial. The contrast between Mary and Maria is the emotional backbone of Silent Hill 2. Where Mary is reserved, gentle, and reflective, Maria is bold, wild, and unfiltered. That duality isn't just character design, it's psychological tension, and it's essential. When you first meet Maria in the original, she greets James with this grin, almost like she's been expecting him. She's not shocked, confused, or scared like Angela or Eddie. She doesn't stumble into the scene. She owns it. Even before you learn what she really is, you feel that she's different. Not just another lost soul drawn to the town, but something other. Her look, her body language, her playful tone, they all sell the illusion. She has a spark that's both magnetic and uncanny. She's tempting, but also dangerous. That spark gave Silent Hill a strange new energy, a sense of life cutting through the fog. But that spark is missing in the remake. remake, Maria doesn't greet James with that confident grin. Her eyes don't have the same allure. Her design makes her feel less like Maria and more like Mary in a wig. And it's not just her appearance. Her voice is flat. Her lines lack playfulness. She doesn't charm. She just speaks, like she's reciting lines she doesn't believe in. Compare her in any scene with the original, and you'll see how original Maria was not afraid to overstep her boundaries. They made her here as if she's so afraid to offend. Whenever the original Maria is confident, the remake Maria comes across as hesitant and subdued. It's like they wanted to be on the safe side, so they made her very tame. The way scenes are directed plays a huge role in how Maria is portrayed. And in the original, she owns her introduction. From the very first moment, the camera tells you exactly who the focus is, Maria. She walks away with confidence, knowing full well that James and the player is still watching her. The camera follows her, not James. It's subtle but effective. She commands the scene. But in the remake, the camera stays on James. Maria is sidelined, literally. James doesn't seem captivated by her at all. In fact, he barely reacts. It's Maria who has to insert herself back into the frame, almost like she's chasing his attention. This shift is more than just visual. It speaks volumes about how her character changed. In the original, when James asks about Mary, Maria turns her back casually, brushing off the question like it's beneath her. She remains in control, but in the remake, her expression is oddly concerned, like she's nervous or unsure of herself. And that worried look feels less like a character choice and more like a reflection of the developer's hesitation. Like they were afraid to make her too bold, too confident, too different from Mary. And in doing so, they stripped her of the very qualities that made her Maria. Just compare both versions in this scene. In the original, when James mistakes her for Mary, she looks visibly annoyed, almost offended, which makes her later outburst believable.
Oh, Maria. It's you. I thought you were... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? You don't sound very happy to see me. I was almost killed back there. Why didn't you try to save me?
We've already seen her express emotions, but in the remake, her initial reaction is not present. So when she lashes out, it feels jarring. Not because it's out of character for Maria, but because the remake hasn't given us a believable version of her to begin with.
Mary! Oh. Maria, I thought... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? I was almost killed back there. I have never been so scared in my whole life.
By this point, she comes across as almost introverted. And once again, that makes it feel less like we're watching Maria and more like we're watching Mary trying and failing to pretend to be someone else. Even the added nightclub scene, the perfect opportunity, fails to capture what makes Maria unique. It could have been the perfect time to showcase her difference from Mary, to emphasize that sharp contrast. But instead, she takes a couple of steps like she's bored or forced into it. There's no fire, no intent. It doesn't feel like Maria. And once again, it feels like Mary trying to act like Maria and failing miserably. And that's the heart of the problem. In the remake, Maria isn't a twisted projection of James's desire. She's just Mary with dyed hair and some makeup. The layers are gone, the danger is gone, and the story loses something vital with it. This becomes especially apparent during the prison scene. In the original, Maria knows who she is. She seems fully aware that she exists deep within James's subconscious. Her sly grin in this moment makes her feel both alluring and dangerous, like a fantasy James is afraid to give into. It's one of her most iconic moments, often referred to as Maria's jail scene.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful.
But in the remake, that same scene falls flat.
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful.
Maria's line delivery feels too neutral, too grounded. The playful, eerie tension is gone. And ironically, despite having very little dialogue, it's James who steals the scene. His performance is layered, conflicted, and incredibly human. You can feel the pull. That maybe, just maybe, he's tempted to stop looking for Mary and start over with Maria, the version of Mary he wished he had.
I'll find some way to... I'll come back, I promise.
In the original, Maria's design and voice direction amplify that tension. In the remake, those elements are toned down, and with that, the mystery and danger surrounding her fade. These aren't just cosmetic changes, they reshape how we perceive Maria as a character, and that, in turn, changes the emotional weight of the story itself. When a character's appearance is directly tied to their identity, psychology, or the themes they represent, changing how they look is not just a superficial decision, it becomes a fundamental change to who they are. It's not about being nitpicky, resistant to updates, or being offensive to the sensitivities of modern audiences. It's about how the visual design supports the storytelling. Take Eddie, for example. His weight isn't just a design choice. It's essential to his arc. He's tormented by people mocking his size, and the monsters that he sees in Silent Hill reflect that ridicule. If he were redesigned as thin, it wouldn't just be a new look, it would erase the very core of his trauma and the symbolism of his encounters. The same applies to Maria. Her original design, from the confident walk to the clothing to the piercing eyes, all serve a purpose. She's meant to be the idealized, tempting version of Mary that exists in James's mind. Change that design and you risk dulling her impact. In a game like Silent Hill 2, where characters are literal manifestations of guilt, repression, and desire, visuals are psychology. Looks matter. Not for style, but for meaning. In my next video, I will talk about my favorite character in the remake, James. I think the voice actor was incredible, but we will be talking about that sad face of his. But first, let me know what you think of Maria in the remake, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye for now.